ready to unlock some serious team potential.
Let's do it.
We're diving into Tyler Hayden's MIQ approach. You know, that multiple intelligence quotient thing?
Not just another personality quiz, though, right?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
This is about building amazing teams.
Wow.
And we've got excerpts from Hayden's book right here.
Yeah, his insights on how different people learn and process information can be a game changer.
It really makes you realize there's no one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to teamwork.
100%. It's about recognizing and working with those strengths, not trying to force everyone into the same mold.
And one thing that struck me was how each of the 9 intelligence types isn't just about how someone learns best,
Right.
but also how they're most effectively motivated and how they communicate their ideas. Like, take the doer, for example. Remember how Hayden describes them?
Oh, yeah. Always on the move, hands-on learning, might even fidget during a meeting.
Exactly. And it's not because they're not paying attention.
Not at all. It's actually the opposite. They're craving action.
So to manage a doer effectively,
You got to give them an outlet for that energy.
hands-on tasks, movement breaks,
Whiteboards, sticky notes,
Yeah.
even Legos. Anything to get them engaged.
then you've got the people person, the ultimate collaborator, right?
Right. They thrive on connection, organizing social events, smoothing over conflicts, making sure everyone feels valued.
They're like the glue that holds a team together.
And they've got this incredible emotional intelligence. They can sense when something's off with a team member.
Oh, absolutely. They pick up on those unspoken tensions.
Exactly.
Now, on the flip side, you've got the thinker.
Huh.
Give me your take on those guys.
Okay, so the thinker often thrives in solitude. You know they need their space to process,
Right. Not necessarily the first one to speak up in a brainstorming session.
but then they'll send that email later with these brilliant insights no one else even considered.
It's like they've been quietly piecing together a puzzle in their heads while everyone else is talking.
And that's why understanding the different communication styles of each MIQ type is so important.
Because trying to force a thinker to think on their feet might not get you the best results.
Exactly. You've got to give them the time and space to process and then create opportunities for them to share their insights in a way that feels comfortable for them.
It's like you're saying we need to be aware of not just what people are saying, but how they're saying it and how they're not saying it. Right?
100%. And how they're processing the information.
So true. Okay, so we've talked about doers, we've talked about people, and we've talked about thinkers. What about the word people?
Ah, yes, the word learner. For them, it's more than just being articulate. You know what I mean? They really understand the nuances of language.
They probably proofread everything they write like 10 times.
Totally. They're the ones catching all the typos everyone else misses. And they can explain complex ideas in a way that anyone can understand.
Right. Okay, switching gears a bit. Let's talk about the music learner. I'm really intrigued by this one.
Well, they see patterns and rhythms in everything. Like they're experiencing the world through a musical lens.
That's fascinating.
So in a team, they might be the ones to spot a trend in data that no one else notices. Or, come up with a jingle to remember a process.
Oh, I love that. So creative. Okay, for music, let's jump over to the numbers person. What comes to mind when you think of them?
Well, you're probably picturing spreadsheets and data analysis, right?
Definitely. Maybe even a bit of a perfectionist streak.
It's not really about being rigid, though. It's about seeking clarity, accuracy, really understanding how things work.
So they keep us grounded. They make sure our decisions are based on solid evidence.
Exactly. They challenge assumptions, they ask the tough questions, they push for that critical thinking.
Which is so important, even if it means we have to up our game sometimes. All right, from the world of numbers, let's head into nature. What about the nature learner?
This is the person who feels most at home, surrounded by, nature. They're drawn to the outdoors, they get the interconnectedness of things.
I bet they'd love to have a meeting outside.
Probably.
Yeah.
But on a more serious note, they bring this unique perspective to teams. They see the big picture, they understand how all the pieces fit together.
They see the forest for the trees.
Exactly. And those cause and effect relationships that others might miss.
Like they have this sixth sense for interconnectedness.
Yes. Which can be really helpful for those complex problems that need that holistic approach.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like we can get so focused on the details that we miss the bigger picture sometimes.
Right. And that's where having all these different MIQ types on a team can be so powerful.
Yeah, because everyone brings something unique to the table.
Exactly. Okay, so moving on to the artist, what's your take on them?
Well, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, right? Creative, visually oriented.
Of course. They often express themselves visually, painting, photography, design,
Yeah.
Doodling on a napkin?
Exactly. But I think what sometimes gets overlooked is their ability to think spatially, to visualize concepts.
So it's more than just being good at art.
Right. It's about being able to see the bigger picture.
Making connections that others might miss.
Yeah, they might be the ones sketching out diagrams during a brainstorming session.
Or creating a visual representation of a complex process.
Exactly. They can make things so much clearer for everyone.
Okay, last but not least, we've got the flow learner.
This one's interesting, right? Hayden actually coined that term himself.
Yeah, it really piqued my curiosity.
Well, the flow learner sees systems, patterns, connections everywhere.
They're like walking pattern recognition machines.
Pretty much. Natural problem solvers. They love creating order out of chaos.
Streamlining processes, making things more efficient. Exactly. I imagine they're the ones with the perfectly organized desk drawers.
Probably. So we've talked about all these different intelligence types, but how do we actually use this information in the real world?
That's the million-dollar question, right? But Hayden does give us a framework for using MIQ.
Oh, good. So he doesn't just leave us hanging.
No, not at all. He talks about how to use it in all kinds of management situations, putting together project teams,
Planning meetings.
recognizing and rewarding employees.
And it all comes back to understanding those individual strengths.
Right, because when you know how people are wired, you can create an environment where everyone can thrive.
Where everyone feels valued for their unique talent.
Exactly.
Mhm.
It's not about trying to make everyone the same. It's about appreciating the differences.
And leveraging those differences to achieve amazing results. Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too. Hayden's work is so insightful. I encourage everyone listening to check out his book.
Yes, definitely do that. And be sure to check out the show notes for a link to Hayden's MIQ score key. It's a great tool for figuring out your own MIQ profile.
Until next time.
Happy collaborating!